Beeps, hello, hello.
So
It's
exciting.
Trey Urban on a Wednesday for Laugh and Learn Lunch. Hi, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Oh my, all the peeps. We just got done setting sacred space. Me and the beautiful love divine. Oh my gosh, guys, we're gonna have an amazing conversation. Trey Urban, I am the master of energy. I have been a shaman for over a decade, so I love helping people just raise their awareness about how the world is interacting with you so that once you realize that things are actually affecting your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, then we can help that spiritual body just come in and really help raise your awareness, raise your life, get you on track to be in flow of what's smooth, gentle, comfortable, and harmonious, because that's what I love. I love. I
Yes.
I, I live the life opposite that, so I had
Hmm.
to learn
Right.
what this is. Beautiful. Okay, so audience, I want to introduce you to Miss Love Divine. She is an amazing queen. I heard her in a clubhouse room. Done. Over. I said, this woman's speaking my language. She touched my heart. She's after the same mission. She is here to really help others to heal. So she's a beautiful poet. Please take over the mic, Queen. What would you introduce yourself to this audience?
So yes, hi. So it's actually Love Evolved is
Love
my name that I go by, Love Evolved.
I
But you
just
can
want
just
her to
call me
be,
Love.
she's so divine. Okay, love
Thank you.
evolved. Ooh, girl,
Yes.
that expanded my heart. Okay, go ahead.
Good. So, but yes, that is my mission is to help others heal. And it's through awareness. Awareness and accountability is the biggest method to help people heal. So, first, to be aware that we are in this earthly realm having an experience. And so, we are not to attach ourselves to the trauma. And each of us are assigned some level of trauma. So, whether you
Yes.
received a level 1, or maybe you got a level 6, or maybe even a level 10 trauma, it's still an assignment,
Wait.
and it's not for you to attach yourself to. So that's the goal in helping people understand that they are spiritually divine, and once they align themselves with spirit, they can walk in the land of abundance that is all of our birthright.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And this is why I loved her, because I knew right away love spoke my language. And of course, my granddaughter's name is Lavina. So I was like, love,
Oh,
I have to tell
nice.
you, I call her love, baby love. And that's where I was like, oh, yes, I'm always drawn to that word, because anybody who's willing to own it
Hmm.
carries a vibration of it. Love
Absolutely.
is real. Love is a real thing. I am so excited for this time, for this moment. So, we were talking before we were coming on, and we are just vibing together
Mhm.
so we could get in alignment with what we're going to talk about. And I was sharing how I just had been feeling that there's this certain kind of energy that's been in the air for about the last, for me, like really the last 24 hours. Some friends have been saying, I don't know, I feel kind of weird, or they're just feeling some kinds of pressures, mentally, and even some physically, feeling some weird feelings. And then I was beginning to share with love. I was like, well, oh yes, one thing I remembered is that there's a full moon tonight, and I believe that planetary things carry energy, because all is energy. It's a quantum physics fact, and
Absolutely.
it always shifts. And that's why they call it, so many people, oh yeah, I started my period. Women, yes, that's why, because it's called a moon cycle.
Hmm.
And a
That's
lot
right.
of people align with their moon aligns with the cycle of
Hmm.
the energy, which is also why they're feeling this pressure. And it's interesting, because I spoke with a young lady today who says, who no longer has, her parts, but she says she still gets phantom, like feelings of the
Hmm.
thing, and then she noticed it's in alignment with the moon when it's a
Hmm.
full moon. So,
Hmm.
sis, what you got on that?
So much power in the moon cycles. And I never realized myself until earlier this year in May, where I experienced a spiritual awakening. And I believe it to be in correlation with the lunar eclipse. It was the blood moon that weekend was to happen. So the energy from the moon mixed in with the energy of the ocean, because I had been out to the beach that day as well. And so around
Beautiful
10
time to
o'clock
go.
that absolutely amazing. Even the whole day, even the vibe of that day was just simply amazing. And later in, once I got back to my hotel room and it was like 10 o'clock at night, all of that energy, once it began to settle, the energy from the moon and the energy in the ocean just kind of caused that kundalini inside of me to rise up. And then, next thing you know, boom, she's awake and life has changed. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm like totally in love with the moon nowadays, especially since that experience became very real for me, and how much the moon actually has an impact in our lives.
And it does on the ocean too, and the
It does.
waters and the
Hmm.
current. Yes,
Yeah. And then we're made up of what, 70+% of water. So, absolutely it has to have an impact on us, right?
it does. And okay, you guys, I'm putting in the chat right now. Okay, so Jamie, she's my sweet, sweet friend. I love her. She is on this healing journey, bossing up her life. But let me tell you, okay, you guys, I'm going to show this is the link how to get to my girl, because you're going to
Yes.
want to align with her as we begin to talk. I want for you to know that it's in the chat, because she can help you. She okay. And so tell me, I'm curious as an artist, because I feel like when there's a full moon, that there's this whole different flow and a vibe. And okay, my girl, she's a poet. She loves the word. So do you feel like you get more creative, or is it time for you to sit back? How does this affect you in that way?
It's great that you pointed out. I wasn't aware that it was a full moon, but however, over the last, since yesterday and then even today, these lines for, I guess, what's about to be my new piece have just been coming to me. So I'm like, oh, let me write this down. That's good.
These
Not
downloads.
even, yeah, not even having the desire to say, oh, I need to write another piece. The downloads are just coming to me. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe that needs to be for a poem or something. So they've been coming fast. So yeah, now that you've pointed that out, it must be the energy of that moon giving birth.
It is. And
Yeah.
and for me, I'm Native, you guys, 51% Native American based on ancestry.com. That but it aligned with my my journey after I was paralyzed. That was where I went. I just had one thing happen after another, and it aligned me with indigenous healers, and it was just a whole story after then. But either way, it's like native. So we understand as people, right? Like you were saying, 70%
Mhm.
water, right? And natives perceive that everything. Okay, there's my little dog here, like crazy. That's my little business partner, you guys,
Oh.
and my little watchdog, keeping guard, moving the energy. But our body is, so your emotional body is a resemblance of water, right? And then
Yes.
air. That's why we use sage or different things with smoke to release and flow with the mental thoughts, right? Because that's where it is. And so there's like these symbologies. And that's why I believe our bodies are called, especially empaths. I have found that most empaths, highly sensitive people, love the ocean, whether
Mm.
they live by it or
Yes.
by there constantly. They have something that draws all of
Yes.
us. We're like, oh, I got to go to the ocean. And
Yes.
we know that it's something in it. It's like extracting, it's freeing. And I
Mhm.
believe it helps the emotional body to flow. So
Yep.
whether you get in it or not, when you're around that air, it's filled with the moisture and the current that's moving. And then that's why you just sit there, and then you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, I feel
Yes.
better. And then your little tushy's grounded into Mama Earth. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And then you just, and really energetically, that is a really big releasing
Oh
spot,
my gosh.
right? And that's why people,
Amazing.
when you sit on the ground, sit under a tree, allow yourself to just, and especially if you have your back, because I
Mhm.
believe that we have these spots like here and mid back and lower back that are energy really spots and where
Yeah.
we receive a lot of energy, which is why a lot of us get the neck and shoulder stuff.
Mhm.
We have the back stuff, my shoulder blades, right? Or the lower back, because I
Right.
feel like these are the areas that we absorb a lot of information. That's where we get hit with.
Mhm.
And so when we're able to do those things or against the sand or lay on the thing, it like extracts from our spinal cord, which is the holding all of your
That's
energy currents, right? It's
that's it.
feeding everything to your body, to your from your mind to all your muscles, and it
Mhm.
gets to just go, thank you, and
Yeah.
extract. Like I use these things, you guys. I have selenite sticks like everywhere. So right now while I'm talking, because I felt my hands feel the energy start to flow too much, so I'm sitting here holding on to my selenite sticks, because especially during this time, I want to move that energy. And what some of us don't realize, a lot of us, how many of you guys do your hands feel heavy? Or do your hands start to get almost like they're falling asleep feelings? And sometimes for no reason, you could be standing or what. So I would like to offer that maybe you're perceiving some energy and your body is now raising your awareness through your hands, because your hands have nerves that go to every single part of your body. So if you're receiving energy here, you can move it from here. That's why people who do the hand massages or your feet, it moves weird energy deposits in your body. So for
Okay.
me, I feel like as highly sensitive people, especially those of us who carry the energy to be able to heal others, who are natural Reiki energy flowers, that's how we first start noticing this pressure in our hands. So I'm going to go back to you because I got
Mhm.
off on a tangent, but
Oh, that's okay.
I love having self awareness. And like right
Oh,
now,
yeah. I love the passion, though. You can tell you're very passionate about that. So it definitely, the energy helps. I appreciate that. But I actually live in Orlando. I'm about 30 minutes from the beach. And so since coming back from, I went off for the holidays back to Illinois to visit with family and spend the beautiful time with them. But ever since making it back, I've been like, I need to take a sick day from work and just go to the beach and just veg out, like that's
self
where
care.
all healing is found, is at the beach, I promise. Like,
I'm not getting ready to go to Miami. I'm flying out in like on Friday.
oh,
So
great.
really at like 4 a.m. in less than 48
Oh
hours,
my gosh.
because I know it
You're gonna
calls
love
me.
it.
And the people and yes, I'm going to the XP Mentor Elevated Entrepreneur
Yay,
Summit.
good for
So not
you.
only is my mental body going to get stimulated, but
Yes.
I am going to embrace their high vibing emotions,
Oh
right?
my
And
gosh.
then I officially announced myself as the hugger. I'm the greeting hugger person.
That's
I'm
great.
gonna let my physical body absorb all of that yumminess from all of these amazing people who
Yes.
are making it right. and
Oh
and
yeah.
speaking of which, so me and my friend Shantae, we decided that, so we had kind of decided for ourselves that we wanted to really gain clarity and focus. So we're like, we should do, and we were talking about a vision board because we
Mhm.
had been messing around with some different things, right? And she's like, let's do a vision box, because I don't like a board. You can't take a board with you. And I was like, I never thought of that. And I was like, I don't care, because I don't care. I'll try anything. And I like stuff that's weird and different. So then Shantae's like, yeah, let's do this. And so while we're on the phone, I go, let's just pick a day right now. And so we said, okay, December 19th, because we want it before 2023, right? Because we want to anchor in the new energy. And this makes perfect sense of a perfect time, because guess what? So this is the way the moon cycle works, you guys. So for the first like 14 days after the full moon, which is today, it's a releasing time. So you'll notice that there's a lot of energy and thought around the past and reflecting on what's been working, what's not been working. And it's perfect because it's time to release that, and it helps you to reset for what's new. So after that, then that's where the moon's either waxing or waning, right?
Mhm.
Wax on, wax off. So wane off. That's why I used to go wax on, wane off. So when it's waning, it's going off. But during the when it's moving into the fullness, that's the creative time, and that's the time to start new things, because you've just got done releasing all of the hopefully old words, old motions, old things that weren't working, weren't supporting your highest and greatest good, and now you're getting the new downloads for the new stuff. And so we're going to have a vision box party December 19th. I'm going to put the link in the chat because we'd love to have you guys go. We've decided to send in numbers, so for only $11.11, not only are we going to be teaching you how to manifest through the law of attraction, because we learned from our buddy Michael Lozier, who is the man who wrote the law of attraction over 20 years ago, my honey. And so we want for people to really see how you can manifest what you want, and how taking action and visualizing and doing the work that this beautiful love does too, because she understands that it's a process. If we could be just healed overnight, we'd all be over there. How many of us would be over there healed? Jesus, please. Let me just get in the water and be fresh, right? Yes. I thought that. I swear, I thought when I got baptized that I was going to come out of the water, and then I was born again. Don't get me wrong, and I had all things, but I thought I was going to be like healed. It's because I don't know. It's my own little kid dream, I guess. But
yeah. I can definitely relate. I can relate with that, because when I experienced my awakening on May 14th of this year, and it was like Phoenix Rising. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Soul. And it's with the little blue guy, 22, and he falls down to earth and, has all the events there. And there was this part where he's like, he realizes that there's more to life than just sitting behind a desk working a 9 to 5. And so the little guy jumps down into his body. He's like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And he just throws everything off of the desk and just, goes wild. I had that moment. And so when I woke up, I thought life was just going to be different. Life was just going to change overnight. And so I'm like spending up all my money and max out my car. I did the same stuff. I'm waking up and I'm rich now. I'm in the land of milk and honey now. Oh my God. So things can happen like that. I had to get a second job to kind of bring myself out of debt. But, once I made it out, I say, okay, take this slow and steady, because it is a process. Healing is good for everybody to do, but it is a process. So.
They were like, you can't be the quarter horse, because you got to make the mile.
Exactly.
And that's how I would. I'd go out fast and hard, and then I'd be like, I'm pooping, because again, it's a...
Oh, goodness.
And what I've learned is some people think, and I used to think this too. I used to think that I could become so healed or get so evolved or whatever that I could get to this place where I guess I would not be experiencing a human experience, I'll say. Right. You know what
I mean? I do.
Thought, I finally found the answer. and I, just like I thought in marriage, I thought, okay, well, you could get to this place where a couple would just know each other so well that you would just be zim-zumming, right? And then it just be organic. But what happens is we all are learning and growing at different moments, at different paces. So that never came. And I remember when that awareness came to me, I cried. I was devastated. I was like, forget this. Give me a divorce right now. No, I am divorced now, but it wasn't because of those reasons. Really, it wasn't. So I love that perception. And this is interesting, because this is why we all can be in the exact same place at the exact same time, hearing the exact same thing, seeing the exact same thing, and yet walk away with unique perspectives, because we all have a unique recipe which draws us to extract certain elements. And for me, I think I just wanted to be healed so bad that I kept doing, I was like, oh, is this going to get me there? Yes, you'll be saved. And when they kept telling me I'd be saved, I was like, I thought I put this whole box of savedness I was going to be saved from. But really what you learn is that I love, because I use the Bible for, it's like a foundation of a lot of really my belief systems. And I love the acronym basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yeah.
But people don't realize, or for me, that should be just like elementary school. And then you should keep going.
Exactly.
And you should keep going, because Jesus said that we could all heal like him even better. And I was like, how does that even work? How could we be better than Jesus or do this. Because when they asked about healing, and he was like, and I get it now, because he had such a short time to be
Right.
here and he knew he would not have it, but we have time. You have today,
That's right.
people, and you tomorrow ain't promised to none of us. None
Mhm.
of us. So what do you want to do today to start manifesting and creating the healed, thriving person that you want to be? You got to keep going after love. And she chose love. And I chose Trey because that's not my birth name. My birth name was Tracy, and I didn't like that name. And when I finally realized that CY was holding me back energetically in all kinds of ways, I was like, forget that. It's
Wow.
gone. And for me, and it's just all about me. So what is going to help you feel better? Just like love. Love, what helped you to move into owning this amazing name?
I guess I can say I had my Jacob to Israel moment. I had that wrestle
Yeah.
with the divine, and it's all internal. It is all of it is
I was gonna
internal.
say I knew it. I felt that, girl.
Yes.
I
So
had
I
that wrestle
definitely
too.
Yeah, and so, but growing up, I dealt so much with anger and disappointment and bitterness and rage. Like I carried all of those negative emotions, the faculties of our adversary. That is the devil in us. That is hell for us. Is when we're walking around in those emotions. And so I never knew what it was to feel love, to
Yeah.
give it or to receive it. I don't think I ever received it effectively. And so when I made the decision to start healing myself and start finding out who I was. And so when I went on the journey actually just last year, 2021, of reading through the entire Bible. I read it in chronological order. And as I did that, I go in asking the questions. I initially go in saying, well, who does God say that I am? Let me just have a mustard seed of faith that this book is from the divine and
Yeah.
can give me a little bit of insight of who I am, because all I know is who the world tells me I am, right? The world tells me I'm an
Yes.
angry person and that there's lack, there's never enough. The world tells me that I'm bitter. So I said, I'm tired of
That I
living
should
this
be seen
way.
and not heard.
Exactly, and I got tired of living that way. So I said, let me go in this book and see, just maybe God, I can see who God tells me I am. And as I'm going through the journey and asking the question, a pruning process is happening. My consciousness is being unfolded and it's going higher and higher. And then one day, look at that. God is right there inside of me. Who knew? Who knew? And so life has just, has forever been changed since actually discovering the God inside of me. And you cannot have both. See, God is love, God is perfect, God is peace, kindness, compassion, God is sufficient. And you can't be filled with that space if you're holding on to things like anger and resentment and bitterness and rage. Like the two cannot occupy the same space. So
Mm.
you do have to make a decision: which God in you are you going to serve? The God of the hell on earth or the God in the heaven on earth? But either way, it's all right here inside of you. So you have to make a decision.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. And then you have to keep making that decision and keep making that decision over and over and over again, because in the end we are going to continue. And my belief is as long as I'm here on this freaking earth, I'm having a human experience.
Mhm.
And so I don't get to escape or be in some safe, protected place where I'm not going to experience life. Right. So it, and from what I've determined to this point, that even as much as I have healed or ascended or whatever, that there's still things that may or may not trigger me or help me feel certain ways, right? That I
Yeah.
experience for a brief time.
Mhm.
But it's the choice to continually
Right.
be self-aware and be in this moment, because I used to be going so quickly and be, oh, but I have this meeting and that meeting and oh, I
Mhm.
gotta go and work and that I really wasn't present. So I
Right.
didn't even have the self-awareness that, like you said, I need self-care day. And then you gave yourself permission to take the self-care day
Mhm.
and then handle that, because how many
Mhm.
of you guys aren't doing that for yourself right now? I want you to put in the chat. How many of you guys don't feel like you're either, oh, I don't have enough leave, or I can't because of my job, or like whatever? Go ahead, throw it out there. This is a safe place, no judgment. I don't judge myself or others, because living I am making the choice in every moment of every day to be self-aware and to help others gain this self-awareness so that we can grow together. And then you attract a tribe that helps raise your awareness. And they're like, yo, girl, did you just say that? Oh, oops. I didn't just say, did I say the TRY word? Oops, my bad. Right? Because just like Love said, she didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up with it. If I knew what a healthy relationship was, I would have already had it years ago
Right.
or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And so all of us are learning. And this is what I've learned, is because we're unique recipes, that Love's recipe isn't going to work for me. Some parts of it may, but my recipe isn't going to work for Love. Maybe some things or parts of it, but Love has a beautiful, unique recipe that, and it's her job to find that out. And it's my job to find out my recipe. And
Right.
it's your job to find out your recipe. Not to be worried about your man's recipe, your partner's recipe, your child's recipe, even your child, because first you have to find you. And then you have to be that example. And I know so many women I talk to now who they're just like, okay, how many of you guys fed into the belief of the Prince Charming, right? From all of the fairy tales we were told. How many of us give into the whatever perception of what a wife is based on what society says, right? Oh, I took him to PTA and I've given him this and I've done that. But in my perception, becoming self-aware and being an example of somebody who's self-aware, self-loving, able to gauge self helps them to have that. Because when I'm real psychic, I'm super psychic, master of energy, but I can't read minds as much as I could read your energy, and really nobody else can either. So you have to be able to have clarity enough to say, this is what I need. Just like Love did. She said, I knew I needed me an ocean day, right? What other tips do you help women to gain this healing from the trauma, to get that self-awareness? Because some of us don't even realize sometimes how sad we are, or you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
we're just so used to it.
Mhm. Um, Taking ownership of our own happiness, I think, is a huge thing. All too often, we are looking for our partners to make us happy. Because I know for me, I was in a relationship for 25 years, right? And so for so long, so many years, for
33 years
wow, long time, right? And for so long,
loyal.
I tortured him with the, why don't you ever take me anywhere? Why don't we go out and do anything together? Why? Like just driving him.
When are you gonna?
Exactly, exactly. Just hammering the poor man over his head to make me happy. And there was nothing wrong at all with me taking myself out to the movies or taking myself to dinner, taking myself to do things that I know myself to enjoy. And once I finally grasped hold of that, that it's not his responsibility to please me and entertain me and make me happy, that too began to change. You know, things began to change, and I started to feel better about myself, more confident about myself when you're not waiting on someone to appease you and make you happy. So that's another one. Take ownership of your happiness.
Amen. Because I didn't even know, and this is what I realized when I was so busy doing this, you, that I didn't even know. And some of my sisters were, because I was all in my feelings and all, and they're, and I had a new friend who said something to me that no one has ever said to me before a couple of years ago, and I was like dumbfounded and even shut my mouth and quit crying and almost couldn't breathe for a second in this moment, because I'm losing and me
Mhm.
all in my story, right? And she was like, Trey, what do you need right now? What? I don't know. I
Mhm. Right.
don't know. And I didn't.
Mhm.
I had zero clue I just knew I was really heartbroken. And that, of course, because for me, things piss me off. And when things piss me off, when I piss my own self off, when I get peeved, I like Michael Lozier. He's like peeved. I like that word peeved. When I get peeved at myself, and then I'm like, why don't I know what I need? And then after that, I started asking that and using that anytime anybody now
So
that's in
good.
my inner circle,
Hmm.
because I want them to gain that, because I want to be able to give that.
Hmm.
And my mom and dad never said that. So I want to teach that. And I want my kids to
Excellent.
teach that and reciprocate that. So, yes, self awareness,
And
clarity.
to even, I'm so glad that you brought that up because I was actually having discussion with someone the other day, and I was giving them tips on how to heal, and I was saying that you have to go back and nurture that inner child. And they were like, okay, well, how do you nurture your inner child? That doesn't make sense, right? Like, I'm a grown person now. How do I do that? And so I'm like, okay, well, look at an example from something in your past, right? Like you had your favorite Barbie doll that was stolen from you, and then years later you found out that your stepfather threw it away, and you've been holding on to that for a long time. You know how you can go back and nurture your inner child? You, for one, can go back, of course, in your mind. You can't travel in time, but you can turn inwards and say to that little 8-year-old little girl, that sucked, honey. And stepdad was a horrible person for doing that to you. But you know what? It's going to be okay. And we're going to go get us a new Barbie. How about that? And then, actually, as an adult, as a 40-year-old woman, go back and buy you that doll that was taken from you that you had a hard time getting over. Like, you can nurture, you can do things now in this present day that you missed out on as a child. That's how you nurture your inner child. Okay, you affirm your child the things that you wish your mother would have said to you in that moment. Maybe they told you, "Oh, shut up, that's nothing, get out my face." You can go back and affirm that inside child and let them know, honey, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Say to your inner child what you wish someone would have said to you in that moment, and then go and buy your inner child that doll. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or
Nurture.
eat the candy or have the
Absolutely.
whatever that, because that's, what they always told me. Like my mom, she was a master baker. She could, and she baked like all the time. And so there would be this deliciousness. That ain't for you. That ain't
Mm.
for you. Okay. Exactly. And so okay, so you guys, this is how you start gaining awareness when your inner child is acting up. Okay, this is one example. So my 12-year-old grandson, Anthony, who I still have custody of and did then, he had been going around having those moments. That's it, I'm leaving. That's it, I'm leaving, right? And it's so funny because so then me and the husband start getting in this conversation, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, that's fine, I'm leaving. And then I get this intuitive flash of my grandson, 12 years old, saying the same freaking thing, having his mom. I was like, oh, there's my 12-year-old wanting to run away because I've exalted my tools. And so there is a 12-year-old expression, and I had to do that. I had to capture that thought and say, okay, and I had to go back and I tell husband, I just realized that my 12-year-old child wants to run away from this situation right now because I don't feel like we're getting anywhere.
Mhm.
Right. But this is how it comes up. And then I took charge and I was like, okay, so is it okay if we can take a break and revisit this conversation and blah blah blah, right? And then I set whatever I needed. But I also know that there's so many times that my little inner children, okay, so one time my grandkids, they get all this amazing stuff, right? Because they're
Mhm.
spoiled as heck. Because I love to spoil them, and
Yes.
and it was crazy because one time, husband gave one of the kids like a ice cream or something, and I got all freaking pissed off. I could feel my gut get mad because he gave him a ice cream, and I started trying to logically be like, they don't need no ice cream because did it from an adult perspective, but I felt it was my hurt little child
Mm.
who
Come on.
didn't get the ice cream.
Mhm.
Yeah, so then I went and I
The
got the ice.
awareness. It's the awareness for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So these are subtleties, you guys.
Yes.
Discomfort. any kind of dis-ease,
Mhm.
jealousy, envy,
Yes.
sadness, without lack. These are moments that you got an impact that's being stored based
Yeah.
on what you heard, what you
Mhm.
smelled, what you
Mhm.
experienced. All your five senses are logged, and
Yes.
that's why it'll come up and it'll be like, yo. And so most of us don't understand, and we stay in the anger or we stay in
Mhm.
the whatever. But us healers, we know that we don't want to be in anything that isn't love.
Mm-mm. That's right. That's right. If it's going to cost us an ounce of dis-ease or anything other than peace, let me figure out what's going on inside of me so we can take care of that and heal that
Capture every
part.
thought and
Yes.
make it capture it all. And
Hmm.
even the good ones, capture them and hold them
Yes. Oh my
so
gosh.
you
So
can
good.
remember what they feel like, so
Yes.
that you can really know when you're not feeling that way, right?
Wonderful.
I love
So
this
good.
conversation. Okay, next one. Now that you, so when you're working with your beautiful, we call them supporters. I don't like clients. There's supporters. They're people I support, reciprocate with, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, your people are starting to go, oh, I get it. I get what you're saying. So now, how do you take action to start capturing the thoughts, staying in the moments? What are some tools?
Um, I mean, to offer anything more than awareness, let me think if I have anything more than that, because
So what do you
I
do? What do you do?
I am conscious and I capture those thoughts because unfortunately, because I've dealt with molestation as a child, even at my age now today, there can be some unpure thoughts to come into my mind if I'm completely honest and transparent. And I
Mhm.
have to grab hold of those thoughts and say, no, get out of my mind. That's inappropriate. I talk to myself. It's not just me in this body. I got spirit and soul, and we're in this body together, right?
Yep, and I believe it's
So,
the four. There's four things. There's that mental body,
mhm,
saying words based on whatever you've put into it. It's like your computer, right? So it can only give you what you've experienced. There's that
mhm.
emotional
That's
body,
right.
and that emotional body has generational stuff. It has your stuff
That's
from
right.
this lifetime. Forget your parents, who knows what, right? And
That's
then
right.
that spiritual body sometimes gets so drowned out because of that, and then that's all being inside of your little physical body, because your soul's infinite. And
That's
that's
right.
the spiritual part that brings with it, in my perception, much more than we have full consciousness even in this lifetime, because a lot of people don't even realize that they carry their generational mental and
Mhm.
emotional energies, because you guys,
Mhm.
you are getting more than your parents looks and quirks when you, moment of inception, bing
That's
bing,
right.
at that bing bing, that is the time, whatever your parents were most focused on. Like, were they going to school, were they trying to get a job, were they leaving their house, were they running away, what, right? So they were going mentally through stuff, they were going through emotional stuff at that moment that was in their energetic cellular makeup. That's why we come in, and then there's reasons why we have issues with money, or issues with purity, or issues with whatever, because some of it isn't even come all from us. It comes from the past, because what I found is my parents experienced trauma too. My parents experienced inappropriateness also.
That's right.
Like, and what I found when I really started doing the research, because I was trying to get clear,
Mhm.
why am I crazy? Because I thought I was freaking crazy, right? And started that journey of, why am I like this? And I started realizing, oh, and this is so funny. So I laugh because some of the things I say, people are like, I don't know if I believe you or not. And it's fine, because just because you aren't ready for the awareness doesn't mean that it was always existing.
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
energy has always been energy. Just because you don't know how to play with it, some people don't know how to attract it, pull it, shift it, mold it. but it doesn't mean that it isn't possible. So I love planting seeds of possibility, just like you are planting seeds. Your trauma can be healed.
That's
You
right.
can be a thriver. You can be over here like us, smiling and
That's
helping
right.
others with
That's right.
tools. So you guys, please put your tools in the chat, and I'll throw them up on the screen, because anything you have to share, I would love anything that helps, because it all helps all of us. I love getting new information, because nothing works forever or consistently.
Mhm.
Because when you've learned it, it was for then. Oh my gosh, this dog, it's gonna, it's
That's
my,
aside.
it's Lavina's dog. It is not my dog. And Lavina
Gotcha.
is at work right now. So
Okay.
I'm being a great grandma sitter, I guess, of the dog. But yeah. So it's going back to the gaining awareness, and when you start wanting to heal and just wanting, going, you know what, I'm ready. I promise you, the people will start showing up.
That's
The
right.
information will start coming before you, right? You'll start magically getting these new feeds in your social media, and it's amazing. And or people will be like, hey, have you read this book, like a close friend or something, and you're like, girl, you don't even really read what you, so it makes you go, hey, just know all of your ways coming. It's coming.
You
All
know,
right.
I had, excuse me, I mean to cut you off. When I
Oh
was
no,
in
go.
Illinois for Thanksgiving over the holiday, and I had went to dinner or breakfast, whatever, lunch with a friend, and he had asked me if I had listened to Dr. Miles Monroe. You know, they were giving me a list of the motivational speakers and the people that they like to listen to, and asked if I listened to Dr. Miles Monroe, and I was like, you know, I used to maybe a couple of years ago when I was in that part of my spiritual journey, but I don't really listen to them anymore. And then that was on Sunday. And then I think on Monday or Tuesday, I was in Clubhouse and I performed my piece. And right after performing my piece, somebody had asked me, do you listen to Dr. Miles Monroe? And I was like, what a coincidence. I guess I need to start listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. Like
See,
picking up on those synchronicities, if I'm saying that right,
yeah,
synchronicities. You
synchronicities.
have to pay attention to the things that people are saying to you and actually take action when you get things like that to happen. So
And
that
that's what
was
I call the intuitive flashes.
that's right.
God's using the people
That's
around you.
right. That's right. Like if you didn't catch it the first time, you'll send somebody else back around a second, and maybe even a third time if you need it. But
I'm a three, because I said I was a hard head. So I told God,
right?
let me see it, hear it, receive it 3 different ways, because
Yeah,
a girl needs to know you're talking to me.
that's right. That's right. So yes, being aware and paying attention, and see so many other things have our attentions. The news. I don't even watch the news anymore because it's not only is it sad as heck, but it takes my attention away. I can be feeding life into other things besides, the stuff that's not even going to serve me. I heard somebody say that God loves drama. Like there's drama all throughout the Bible, right? So that's the same thing within this world. There's always going to be some type of drama or chaos or hurt or pain going on. I don't need to tune into the news to get the specifics of this
Mm-hmm.
drama that's
Mm-hmm.
happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pray for peace for this world, but I'm also going to cultivate myself, build my roots stronger as the tree that's standing in this ground, so that I can spread my roots and be, a shade for others as well that are within my vicinity. So pay attention to what you're paying attention to, in other
Yes,
words.
exactly. And in the end, this is what I told myself. Can I make a difference when it comes to the news? Because I had to give myself reasons and permission to not have to feel like because I was raised that you got to pay attention to that it's so
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
But then in the end, I said, can I control it? No, this is already a past outcome. This is already things that have already happened. So I can either spend my time and energy living in the past,
Mm-hmm. Come
in a
on.
place that I cannot affect the
Mm-hmm.
outcome, or I can spend every waking moment giving thanks and gratitude that
Yes.
love continues to grow, that
Mm-hmm.
healing's going to happen, that
Mm-hmm.
countless people are going to be right in alignment. And that's where I'm like, okay, so I would rather spend my half hour instead of watching the news like I used to. And the
Right.
same with, for me, honestly, you guys, I quit watching freaking sports, because you know why? They don't pay me to lose that much energy over a freaking football game or
Okay.
any of the rest of the stuff. And so again, I was like, that 3 hours I could be pouring that excited energy
Yes.
into something
Oh my
that
gosh.
is benefiting the world instead of antagonizing me.
That's right.
And they didn't even pay me for it. And
Come
I
on.
feel things deeply, y'all. So I don't, and I get involved, and I don't, because I'm 100% in every moment that I'm in.
Okay.
Yes. So awareness.
Yeah,
These are the things. These are
I love
choices,
that.
and so this is what I believe about the Bible, girl. I love that you brought that up. So the very first time anybody ever told me about the Bible or to read it, it was my Uncle George, and Uncle George says, I think you really need to read the Bible, and blah, 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 and I think you should really start with the book of Job. And so I was like, and I was open at this time. I started being hungry. I started my spiritual walk, and I would never in my life ever encourage anybody to start off with the book of Job. I started reading that book, and I don't know if you guys, so I know by heart 3 different versions of the Bible. And so trust me, when I said the first time I started reading the Bible, I read the book of Job, I was so terrified. I said, if this is your God, I want nothing to do with him.
Come on.
Or whatever they are. Heck no. And
Right.
I did not pick up the Bible again. I was like, oh my God, is that a God? Why would he do all that stuff?
Right.
You'd be playing with the devil and blah 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 blah. Right. So that was my introduction to like religion, because there's a long story we won't go into now. Parents said no, they divorced, blah blah blah. So she's like, you're gonna have whatever you find. So here I'm already, in my 20s, probably when I'm doing this, right? And then I was like, but what I think the reason why the Bible needs to have so much of the inappropriateness is because it's like preparing you. And this is how I parent. I would rather my kids know and be prepared what may happen and it never come than for things to come and happen that they are not prepared for. And in the end, I believe that we are all here predestined for our purpose. And that, like Love said before, we all had to go through the journeys and the alignments that got us exactly to the knowledge that we're at right now, so that we can use it and make a difference in other people's lives. And had we not gone through the journeys we gone through, we wouldn't be sitting here going, I got this, I want this, I'm doing this, right? And we're going to start taking the action to make a difference. And when I went, and this is why you get to have awareness to all that, but you also get to have a choice. And so in the end, the reason why I believe things can be predicted is because we already had a roadmap. We already have a destiny. We've already been predestined our purpose. All the things I believe in the Bible are true about all of those things. What I also believe is the free will that we've been gifted is the freedom how we react and respond to every moment. And that's it. You don't get to avoid it. You don't get to get away from it. We are all going to have the map. We just get to decide how are we going to react and respond to the moments that are already predestined for us. Right. We could give our energy away to the crazy, or we can create the future we want. I used to fight the system.
That's so good.
I used to battle the school system. I used to be like, I'm going to make the change. I'm going to force the change. I was on countless boards and committees. And you know what I decided? Trying to break somebody's broken system is a waste of energy, because first of all, they don't want it to be changed, or else it would be changed. But what I can do is I can spend all that energy creating the school that I want. I could create the experience for my kids that I want. I can create, manifest, and draw forward the like-minded people to support me to let that happen. It's a choice. That's what I get to choose, or I could keep choosing the life I had before. And guess what? My cousin, Michael Rodriguez, is on the feed, and Michael is in Asia, you guys. So I love that. Cousin Mike is here, and I've been flashing his things. That's my cousin.
Nice.
Cousin Mike, hey. Yeah, cousin around the world, because he decided he wanted to make a difference.
I love it.
He was in the Navy for many, many years, served and loved the Asian culture. But not only that, he saw a need and he wanted to fill it. So he became an English teacher over there, never came back home.
Amazing. Amazing.
Loves his freaking life. I get pictures, and I love that.
Yes.
Yes. What do you
And that's how life should be experienced. Like whether your desire is to travel the world. I was thinking on my morning walk earlier, like the goal is to become a legend within this realm. And so I think we continue to come back over and over again until we hit that legend status. But guess what? The janitor who worked in his school for 40 plus years, who made an impact in that kid who became president of the United States, is also a legend. So it doesn't matter what your role is, you're supposed to do it with spirit flowing through you so that it makes an impact on those around you.
I'm getting
So,
goosebumps
yeah.
everywhere. So beautiful. So accurate. That's what we're here to do, you guys. See, love, this is why I had love. Come on. I knew I wanted her to be a guest because I wanted you guys to experience her amazingness. She
Thanks,
wants to
sweetie.
help you guys move through some trauma. So if you are feeling or vibing this beautiful queen, I'm going to throw back her information back up. And we only have about 5 more minutes before we got to get ready to end off. So, honey, what amazing, speaking of the future and creating and all of that wonderness, what amazing things do you got going on? What are are you having any end of year specials? Because I am. What are your end of year specials? Are you having a layover Black Friday stuff? What you got going on?
Well, I do offer coaching services. So if you are interested in a consultation, I do offer a 30-minute consultation for just 22.22. And
I
you
love
can
saying I love these numbers.
and you
Oh,
can direct message me on Instagram, the word healing, and we will definitely explore availability and have a discussion to see how I can be of service.
yes. Yes. Okay, you guys, this is her IG. And so this queen is cranking it up. I want you to get with her on Clubhouse. If you guys aren't already on Clubhouse, I love Clubhouse. I love Clubhouse. We get to spend time and hear more amazing information. But until then, oh, I forgot. You guys, Dr. Andrea, I'm doing a LinkedIn tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. before my Discover Your Purpose room in Clubhouse. And I cannot wait. We're going to be talking about energy and you, right? Because if I could help raise people's awareness about how this energy is affecting you, I promise you it would change your life. It would change your life because then you would be able to shift it so much more easily because you would have awareness. Just like this inner child talk and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Once you gain awareness about it, it's transformational.
That's right.
It is. So,
Mm-hmm.
love, IG. Her IG handle is journeywith_love. If you guys
Yes.
aren't able to look at the chat or aren't seeing it, all my Twitter peeps, I know you guys don't get to see some of the stuff. So, you guys, please reach out to this queen. If you guys are interested in joining the Vision Party, the Vision Box Party, then go to my IG, message me vision, and you should get the link to register. We would love to have you. It's going to be amazing. We're going to help you manifest your 2023, whether you want love, whether you want a new home, whether you want some of both, whether you want a new career, what you want. Come and join us. And
Yes.
I'm always entertaining as hell. Oh yeah, I forgot, you guys. So everybody gets a free, part of the package. You're going to get 5 minutes with an intuitive download from me, whether we do it all together on the Zoom or we go out to a breakout thing. If you want it privately to help you really get clarity around that manifestation, I want you to have that clarity because it is so very, very important that sometimes we don't, if you're not sure, we're not, I just know I want a better year than this year. Well, guess what? My intuitive downloads will help you. Everyone gets 5 minutes. It's part of the deal. So you guys, Bitly, if you guys want to just go to the link and register, go to my IG, Trey Urban Official. Or actually, you know what? You guys can message me on Facebook too. And they're both connected to my lovely auto replier thing. So you guys, Vision Box. Vision 2023. Let's start
Yes.
manifesting life together. I am so excited.
So
So
exciting. So grateful to be here today with you all.
thank you for letting you guys pour love into my sweet love. And
Thank
let
you.
me tell you, I cannot wait to move forward with you. Hope I see you guys on LinkedIn. Wait till you meet Dr. Andrea. She's a powerhouse. She's fire. But you got to go over to LinkedIn. And I'm Trey Urban pretty much everywhere. Trey Urban on YouTube. Trey Urban on LinkedIn. Trey Urban. Trey Urban. Love you guys. Thanks for joining me. I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Guess who's coming next Wednesday? Shantae, the fur baby lady. We're going to get our fur baby conversation on because you know I love my fur babies.
Oh.
All right, guys. Big hug. Until then, have a blessed rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you out on these social media streets somewhere.